rubber capital of the world. Marco LaNave handles play-by-play broadcasting and sales for the Ducks and has been with the team for the past 6 seasons. And he joins us now on Ohio Sports Magazine. Welcome, Marco.
Oh, thank you, Jay. Appreciate you having me.
It's our pleasure. Now, you started as an intern with the St. Cloud, Minnesota Riverbats back in 2008. Did you know then that you wanted to be a baseball play-by-play guy?
At that point, I think I was pretty interested, and it even goes back before then. The St. Cloud Riverbats were my hometown summer collegiate wood bat league team, and I was fortunate as a kid to win a drawing through a local grocery store, I believe, or maybe it was a gas station that did a drawing for one lucky child to be brought into the radio booth with the announcers for an inning on the small radio station that carried the play-by-play of the games, and I won. I was 11 years old. I still had dreams of playing baseball for a long time, and when that career path was not really open to me, it seemed like baseball broadcasting would be a great alternative and keep me around the game, and here it has for the last, 13 seasons in minor league baseball.
2024 was a solid year for the Rubber Ducks. They lost in the division series of the playoffs to Erie, and it was their first appearance since 2021 when they won the Eastern League Championship. Marco, what made last year's team so competitive?
Yeah, I think there was some great leadership among the players themselves. A couple guys who had been at the level previously that were motivated, driven, and then some great talent that came through. A strong coaching staff led by manager Greg DeCenzo. His first season managing Akron, but he'd been a coach and a manager for a long time, both in the college ranks and then in the Cleveland Guardians organization. And things came together really well. Some of the top hitting prospects in the Guardians organization. Chase DeLauder was briefly with the team, but it battled with injuries. But C.J. Kafis, who is now up to AAA Columbus, already in the organization. Cooper Engel, who is a great hitting prospect at the catching position and started the year with High Lake County last year, and then graduated up to Akron midway through August. And then some excellent pitching. Austin Peterson, Parker Messick, they came up halfway through the season to join the likes of Aaron Davenport and Tommy Mace, who were with the team the whole year and really had a strong showing. So Cleveland, the pitching factory, as many know them, continued to shine, and the bats really woke up as well in the second half, and they rolled through the second half of the season and then made it into the playoffs in a best-out-of-3 series against the Erie Seawolves. It was a great series, and the Ducks lost by a single run in the winner-take-all Game 3 and fell short of advancing, and then of course, the Erie Seawolves went on to win back-to-back Eastern League championships last year. So the Ducks were right there, one of the top teams in the league, but fell short in their chase of another championship.
Now, these two same teams are duking it out again for the top of the Eastern League this year. Who has the advantage?
Well, so it's going to come down to the final couple of weeks. The Rubber Ducks traveled on the road for the final 2 weeks of the first half. They go on their longest road trip, both in terms of mileage and in terms of length, 12 games to Hartford, Connecticut, and Portland, Maine. The Ducks, have been competitive there in the past, but they're going to be chasing the Erie Seawolves, who right now, again, it's almost a neck-and-neck race, but Erie does have the tiebreaker because of winning 4 out of 6 in a head-to-head in Erie in mid-April. Tough to say who's going to have the advantage to win the first half, but you can bet that the team that doesn't win the first half will be right there in the thick of it in the second half, and I would not be surprised at all for these two teams to match up in the postseason again, the Guardians and Detroit Tigers AA clubs.
Why is Travis Bazuna considered such a top prospect for the organization?
Yeah, Travis Bazana was the number 1 overall pick in the 2024 Major League Baseball draft. The Guardians, for the first time in franchise history, had that first overall selection, and they had the chance to pick the player that they felt was the best talent in the draft. And I think they got a pretty good one in Travis Bazana out of Oregon State. Really a driven individual, and the physical and baseball talents are backed up by incredible real, mental sharpness and strength for him. He plays the game with a special awareness, aggressively to the Guardian style, whether it's defensively on the base paths, planning and preparing. And at the top of the order for the Rubber Ducks for the first couple months of the season, really took some impressive at-bats for the AA level, has the hit tool, the power, and is a leader for the team. He was part of the team at High Lake County that won the Midwest League Championship last year in his first go about with the professional ranks. So Bazana maybe will come back. It looks like late July, early August, because the mid-May injury of the right oblique had him out for maybe 8 to 10 weeks, the Guardians had announced at the time. So hopefully he will be an impact on the Ducks' chase in the second half.
So what's new at the ballpark besides these cool new video boards? Anything to note?
Oh, yes, of course. The Akron Rubber Ducks, we always try to do something fun at the ballpark. We're doing a series of bobbleheads to celebrate the Akron Bicentennial, which is in the year 2025. So we're going to be celebrating some Akron-related figures with those bobbleheads throughout the summer. Judy Resnick, who many know as an Akron icon, she will be celebrated with a bobblehead Saturday, July 5th. That will be a 7:05 game, as they are on Saturdays for the first 1,000 fans. And then there will be another one, Rita Dove, who was the first African-American to serve as Poet Laureate of the United States, an Akron native. She'll be the bobblehead on August 23rd. And then we're celebrating Ohio State with Troy Smith coming to town. He's going to be the VIP for a meet and greet and a bobblehead on Saturday, September 6th.
We look forward to seeing and hearing all the Rubber Ducks' success this season. And there will be more Ohio Sports Magazine straight ahead on the Ohio News Network.
How many different ways can you consume morning juice? Let's see. Live on YouTube, live on the Fans HD3 podcast on demand, and on 10 TV Plus. And we'll send by you right to your house.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 8.
The Fan.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a mysterious room of long-forgotten, moldy mascot memorabilia. Often pitched by ad agencies, always rejected by NJM. Is it real? We may never know. But what is real is NJM's dedication to doing what's right for their customers. Astoundingly, they're proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Learn more at njm.com.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Jerry, I think I invented something.
Does it solve a problem?
It solves a big problem.
Get Eco.
ECO. Heating and cooling companies are telling people your furnace and AC isn't worth fixing. You need to replace it with a whole new system.
You invented a solution for that?
I invented a way to fix those systems for free.
Get Eco.
ECO.
That's a great invention. How does it work?
Step 1 is to pay ECO to fix it.
I thought you said you'd fix it for free.
Step 2 is that we give you back all the money that you paid us, up to $1,500 when you get ECO to replace it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
What if your repair keeps my system running for several more years?
That would mean you got all those extra years for free.
Paying ECO to fix your AC system is like putting money in the bank.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Through Travis Manion Foundation's Operation Legacy service projects, veterans, families of the fallen, and inspired civilians across the country come together under the common cause to serve in honor of our nation's heroes. Service projects include city beautifications, planting memorial trees, volunteering at shelters, park cleanups, and more. Ask yourself, if not me, then who? And register for a project near you or as a virtual volunteer by visiting oplegacy.org.
We got a higher home appraisal after we put away our African art and family photos.
Has this happened to you because of race or national origin? Contact HUD at hud.gov/fairhousing. A message from HUD and the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yeah, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GEAR for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GEAR for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GEAR.
My son Ian was diagnosed with a brain tumor at the age of 16 months. The outlook was pretty rough. I mean, it was, we had no hope until St. Jude rescued us. I mean, they saved him. To this date, we are 12 years into this journey, and from day one, we've never once seen a bill. It gave us the peace of mind to know that we're there with our son, and we're gonna beat cancer together. Now, he is doing really, really well. He's alive because of what St. Jude has done. He's here because of the doctors who came before, their blood, their sweat, their tears, the knowledge accumulated and shared, with everyone else around the world. This is how we get rid of this, how we help kids beat cancer all over. It's the future.
Together, we will make cures possible for every child everywhere. Learn more at stjude.org.
Oh, hey, the best football team in the country's on the best radio station in the country. Congratulations, Buckeyes. Here's to 100 more years together. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
Our friend Tim Alcorn is the radio play-by-play announcer for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he's back with us on Ohio Sports Magazine to talk Cavs players past and present. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. The offseason arrived much quicker than I thought it would, but
I know.
Settling in.
Does it make you feel better, at least, to see Indiana in the finals?
Yes. Absolutely. No, I'm being serious. If you recall, Jay, when that series between the Cavs and the Pacers was about to unfold, I told you and I told a lot of folks, don't underestimate this Pacer team. They were playing great basketball from the first of the year on, had dismantled Milwaukee pretty easily, had made the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So it does take some of the sting away. Not all of it, but it does go to show that Indiana was playing great ball.
They sure were. And, as Donovan Mitchell said, don't count us out. We'll be back.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. That loss to the Pacers, again, even though Indiana does end up going to the NBA Finals, it hurt. It stung, as I said before. So that'll energize them. That'll fuel them and motivate them. They know how they felt after Game 5, and they don't want to feel that way again.
No, they want the feeling back from 2016 when they won the NBA championship. And one of those players on that team was a fan favorite by the name of Kevin Love. Now, there have been a lot of confusing and conflicting reports over the last few weeks. Is he retiring, or is he going to play one more season with the Heat? He is under contract.
Yeah, and I've seen those same reports where you go, oh, man, he's hanging it up, and then a day or two later, well, no, he's not. So I think right now the word is that he will be back. And he went through a real difficult season this past year, missed a bulk of the games down the stretch as his dad was ill and then ended up passing away, and that hit Kevin very, very hard. But listen, his legacy in Cleveland is cemented. Kobe Altman said, even though Kevin Kevin had left the team at that point. He will be back when we hang his number in the rafters. So, listen, he was a huge part of that 2016 championship. They talk about the block, the shot, the stop. Of course, LeBron with the block, Kyrie with the huge shot, but it was Kevin Love with the stop as part of that equation when he just shut down Steph Curry at the end of the game, and Curry couldn't get a shot off.
Obviously, LeBron James is the greatest Cleveland Cavalier to ever play for the team. But when you think about our historically elite names, is Kevin Love part of that equation?
I would think so. And again, as Kobe said, his number will go up in the rafters. Well, you got to be one of the all-time greats. But sure. And what Kevin Love was able to do as a Cavalier was change his game. He was not the same Kevin Love in Cleveland that he was in Minnesota. And I don't mean that in a negative way. He altered his game to fit in with a LeBron James, with a Kyrie Irving. And so that's a huge tip of the cap to him because he had to adjust his game.
Well, he had to do the same thing when he went to the Heat. He changed his game again.
Yes, that's a great point, Jay. It is. And so it just shows that Kevin Love is a team player, and he's all about winning, and he's willing to play the role that he's asked to play so that the team can win.
One of the things that impresses me the most about Kevin Love has absolutely nothing to do with what he does on the court. He's an advocate for mental health, which for a lot of athletes and quite frankly for men in general, it's a very difficult conversation to have. How has his advocacy impacted the NBA, his legacy, and his fans?
Great question, and I'm glad you brought it up because he has been a huge advocate, and he has really opened the doors for others in the NBA to say, yeah, there are dark times, and you can't be afraid to talk about it. You can't be afraid to admit it. It's nothing to be embarrassed about, and Kevin Love has donated his time, his financial resources, and so much more to this effort to say, listen, mental illness is a real thing, and we have to deal with it. And as you said, for men, especially alpha male professional athletes, you can't shy away from this. It's real. It impacts our lives. It impacts not only our play on the floor, but our personal life, and we have to be able to deal with that.
I'd like to see Kevin Love back on the bench with the Cleveland Cavaliers as a coach. You think that's possible?
Yeah, Jay, I don't know if he's ever really talked about coaching as something that he would like to pursue. He's such a cerebral player that I think it's something that he would excel at. I think he would do very well at it because he wasn't the gifted athlete that just could pick up a basketball and just excel. He worked at his game in every aspect of his game. And so he was so cerebral about the game of basketball that I think he would adjust to coaching well, but I'm not sure he's ever broached that subject, to be honest.
Well, there are rumors about everything going on right now, and one of those rumors is packaging Darius Garland and Jarrett Allen off to a team to be named later for an aggressive forward. Do you think there's any truth to that thought process at this time?
Well, there's a lot of things out there that are being said and posted on social media to attract eyes and clicks. Listen, Kobe Altman in his season ender, and I was standing right next to him, he was adamant that we're going to keep this core four together. We want to run this back again. Now, if somebody absolutely blows him away with some sort of offer for either one of those two guys, or I won't say Mosley or Mitchell. I think they're untouchable. But for anybody else, I think he's got to listen. That's his job as president of basketball operations. But I don't get the sense that he's looking to say we've got to make some changes, at least following that press conference to close out the year.
Well, camp is going to open in a few months, and we'll be right there with you. And we want to thank Tim Alcorn for being with us. More Ohio Sports Magazine straight ahead on the Ohio News Network.
This is Pause Before You Play, and it's time for more game day picks from local sports fans. You're on the air. Who you got?
Actually, I'm not betting, just chilling and watching the game.
I know that move. A pause. Sounds like you've got a winning strategy.
Exactly. After I set limits and recognized the risk, I knew it was time to stop.
Now that is responsible betting, folks. Sports are fast. Betting shouldn't be. Make a plan at pausebeforeyouplay.org. That's pausebeforeyouplay.org.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton.
ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Does heel pain make you hobble just getting out of bed in the morning? If heel pain is affecting your ability to exercise and meet your walking or running goals, relief is as close as your local podiatrist. Podiatric physicians are highly trained doctors who specialize in medical and surgical treatment of the foot and ankle. Ohio Foot and Ankle podiatric physicians are available across the state and are devoted to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care.
For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy on it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Tomorrow.
Ohio's public school students are counting on our lawmakers to keep their promise to them as they finalize the next state budget. Our students are counting on the adequate, predictable funding model the Fair School Funding Plan provides. Our students are counting on you to call your lawmakers and tell them to support the future of our public schools.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
Ohio is a fishing state. Boy, there are lots of places to fish. We have over 172 inland reservoirs, 7,000 miles of streams, of course, Lake Erie, and a good portion of the Ohio River. And don't forget about our 76 state parks, too. Sarah Schott from the Wildlife Division of the Ohio Department of Natural Resources joins us on Ohio Sports Magazine to talk about fishing, rules, and safety tips. When is the ideal time to fish in the state of Ohio?
Yeah, well, we are approaching, I would say, that time. When the weather starts to get a lot warmer, it'll start to get warm. We'll be full swing into summer. People will be enjoying the outdoors, and that is a great time to get out and go fishing. Fishing is a year-round opportunity. People do fish in the fall and the winter if there's possibility of ice fishing, but this is when we see a lot of people heading out to our rivers, our streams, our lakes, of course, Lake Erie and the Ohio River, like you said. But this summer, is a great time to get out and go fishing.
A lot of times people will say, hey, where's the best place to catch fish? But doesn't that depend upon what kind of fish you're trying to catch?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Definitely depends on what your target species is. We have a lot of fantastic opportunities to go fishing from, walleye and yellow perch in Lake Erie. Of course, Lake Erie has the title walleye capital of the world, so there's really no better place to go catch walleye in Lake Erie. We have a great saugeye, crappie, largemouth and smallmouth bass, and sunfish fishing opportunities all across different inland lakes in Ohio. There's a lot of fantastic opportunities. Just to give like a couple examples of great places to head out, saugeye fishing is fantastic in places like Indian Lake, Buckeye Lake, and Alum Creek Lake, kind of all centrally located. Mosquito Ohio Creek Lake and Nimsula Reservoir over in northeastern Ohio are fantastic crappie and bass fisheries, as well as sunfish, and all of those reservoirs are places that we get a lot of our what we call Fish Ohio reports, which are very trophy-sized fish, awesome catches that people submit to get their kind of their Fish Ohio pin every year.
Are most of the fish indigenous to the area, or were some of these fish kind of just dumped in these waterways and said, well, we'd like you to live here?
Sure. So a lot of those fish that I just kind of rattled off, those are native fish. Most of our sport fish here in Ohio are native fish to the Buckeye State. So they've been around for hundreds of years. Some of those fish species that maybe were native here 100 years ago are no longer found here just due to different environmental factors. And then we do stock some spring opportunities of rainbow trout, which are a short-lived species once they're stocked, so they're kind of a catch and or a put and take opportunity. So they're put in there in the spring with the intention of having them harvested before early summer. But other than that, all those other species that I mentioned, those are all native, naturally reproducing fish that we find all across Ohio.
Is there any particular fish other than the rainbow trout that you mentioned that didn't come from here that we've added and has thrived?
Sure. We do stock steelhead trout, which is kind of very similar to rainbow trout. It is a kind of a different strain. Basically, they're a migratory species that spends their life in tributaries of Lake Erie. They migrate out into the lake where they grow in size, and then they come back to where they were stocked. We do have a few very small populations of steelhead that are able to naturally reproduce, but that fishery is sustained by a stocking program. So that is something very similar to rainbow trout, except those fish are living and thriving and growing in our lakes and our rivers. The other species that we do raise in our hatcheries that we do stock all across the Buckeye State is saugeye, and that is that can occur in the wild. That's actually a cross between a walleye and a sauger, which is where it gets its name saugeye from. Because they're a cross, they survive very well in inland lakes, and so those are raised in our hatcheries, stocked in those inland lakes to provide a similar fishery kind of to a walleye or a sauger. It's just that crossbreed. That crossbreeding is possible to happen in the wild, but usually that doesn't occur. So that is something that we stimulate in our hatcheries and then stock those fish.
I know you need a license for a boat in Ohio. Do you need a license to fish?
Absolutely, but it depends on your age. So if you are 16 and older, you do have to have a fishing license. If you're 15 or younger, so our children out there, they can fish for free until they turn 16. So very important, kind of our number one regulation is to have a fishing license if you're 16 or older. A year-long fishing license is just $25. I always encourage people, if you know you're going to fish for the rest of your life, you can go ahead and buy a lifetime license. It's about $600, but over a few years, it does start to pay for itself. And it's a really great thing to kind of make that investment in the outdoors in.
Are there any no-nos when it comes to fishing in Ohio?
Yeah, there are. We do have fishing regulations put in place just to make sure that our fisheries are healthy. Our biologists put a lot of time and effort into making sure that we have proper regulations to make sure we have a lasting resource. So the first thing you want to do before you head out fishing this summer is to pick up a fishing regulations booklet and read through it and just start to understand those regulations. The biggest thing when it comes to fishing, other than having your fishing license, is knowing what the bag limit is for the species that you're going to be pursuing, and also know if there is a minimum inch requirement. So some fish, for example, walleye, they have to be at least 15 inches for you to keep them, and you can only have 6 per day. So understanding those regulations is very very important. There's a lot of different ones. Some of them are site-specific. Some of them are statewide, but, it's always good to know where you're going and to look up, if that area, that lake that you're going to be at has any specific, site-specific regulations. And, of course, if you have any questions, you just want to know some more information about the laws, you can always call your county wildlife officer.
And is there a website that people can visit?
Yep. If anybody wants more information, wants to access those fishing regs, you can visit wildohio.gov.
All right. We want to thank Sarah Schott, as always, for being with us today. And there is more Ohio Sports Magazine straight ahead on the Ohio News Network.
Bishop and Friends.
That is how I envision Kuiper. Safeway delivering pumpkin pie innards, and he's sucking those down with fat-free milk and fat-free whipped cream.
Bishop and Friends, sponsored by Diamond Cellar.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on The Fan.
We could tell you what makes Giant Eagle special, but we think our customers say it best.
I love the fresh produce. I love the fresh meat.
I'm pretty sure the fish guy knows me by now. We're buds.
I love to grill. That alone keeps me coming back.
The people that work here are so nice and so helpful.
Everybody loves the cakes from Giant Eagle.
On every shelf, in every department, we're always going for better because being your Giant Eagle matters.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. Summer is officially here, and so are the rising temperatures. Before you know it, you'll be wondering what else you can do to keep cool during the dog days of summer. You want to beat the heat and keep the AC in your home? Get Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. During their semi-annual sale, you can buy 4 windows and get 4 windows free. Plus a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, and no money down, no interest, and no monthly payments until 2027. So how exactly do they keep their prices affordable? It's a great question. Window Nation works directly with the top window manufacturers in the country, which means all their windows are assembled right here in the USA. Plus, their windows come with a lifetime warranty, so you'll keep saving long into the future. Window Nation's semi-annual sale ends soon. So buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free, and a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, plus pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now, 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com. Once again, that number, 866-90-NATION, or go to their website, windownation.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast into our Sunday with highs into the 70s, and showers and storms will be again possible on Monday, highs back into the upper 70s, and then looking ahead to drier conditions and more sunshine with highs back around 80 by the middle of next week. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan. This is ONN.
The college football playoff is likely headed for 16 teams in 2026. This December will be the second and final year of a 12-team system. Earlier this week, Ohio State head coach Ryan Day told ESPN he's in favor of a new playoff format that would guarantee 4 automatic spots for Big Ten teams. This model would also guarantee 4 playoff spots for SEC teams and 3 at-large spots that could also be used for Big Ten and SEC football schools to enter the college football playoff, thus generating more revenue for their respective conferences. Tony Petitti is the commissioner of the Big Ten Conference. He's been very camera shy in recent months, while his SEC counterpart Greg Sankey can't stay away from a microphone. It's widely considered the Big Ten and the SEC will control much of the changes coming to college athletics in the coming years. Paul Feinbaum covers college football for ESPN. He joined Bo Bishop earlier this week on ONN affiliate WBNS FM in Columbus. Paul says it should not be Ryan Day pitching playoff formats. It should be Tony Petitti.
My friend John Talty from CBS Sports was at the Big Ten spring meetings, and he said Petitti never spoke to the media. Now, Sankey probably spoke too much, but that's who he is. He's very transparent. And, back to what Ryan Day said, Ryan Day doesn't need to be saying that. I heard from some very prominent person in intercollegiate athletics last night asking me, what is Ryan Day smoking? By the way, Ryan Day has every right to say what he did, and I talked to Scott Dockerman yesterday who supported what he's saying in his article in The Athletic, but he shouldn't be the front man for the league. Tony Petitti should, and I think everybody else is really pretty upset about this. I know there's a big contest. I think it's next week in Asheville, North Carolina, where the CFP meets, and maybe Petitti will speak there, but he's not helping the cause.
It's the damnedest thing, and it's one of those things where Ohio State has to carry the water for that league. If you think about the 2020 COVID season, it takes Justin Fields going on the Today Show to say, hey, I want to play football, for Kevin Warren to kind of reverse course. So there's that's out there. Certainly Gene Smith many times has fought battles. I had Gene Smith come on the air with me and say that the Rutgers Maryland thing was actually a football decision. He said it with a straight face. I said, Gene, you don't believe that. What are we talking about? And so this is something that Ohio State has done for a long time. I tend to think that they don't need to do it. In those meetings, do you think this will be, obviously those two conferences, they need to kumbaya, because if anything's going to get done, it's going to be those two conferences doing it. But it seems like Sankey has the Big 12 and the ACC, for whatever power they have, he has them behind him with this 5+11 model.
He does. There's no question. And I wonder, and I think this was the issue yesterday on our show with some people, and I know you're talking about it. Is there a rift? I'm just throwing that up there rhetorically. I don't know. When I talked to Sankey now a week ago, he didn't indicate that. He was far more angry at the Big 12 and the ACC. But Destin didn't go well for the Big Ten SEC relationship. Knowing Sankey, I feel pretty confident in saying that he and Petitti are working behind the scenes. That's the reason for the relationship. That's why it was established. By the way, if the President of the United States can be on the phone this morning with the Premier of China, I think the SEC and the Big Ten can and certainly are talking right now.
You certainly hope so, because they're going to be the ones that make all of this thing go. Looking at some of the early rankings, and obviously everyone's eyes will be on Texas-Ohio State when that game is played. But one of the things that you and I have talked about a little, and I wanted to kind of dig in on it a little bit here, is it does feel like Texas is going to start the year probably number one in the country, and they might deserve to be the number one team in the country. But it did get me thinking about the amount of expectation and pressure that fall on the shoulders of Arch Manning. And I was trying to think, I can't, because you got to remember, and you know this obviously, but just for our audience, like because of injury, Peyton ended up starting right away at Tennessee. Didn't he go into the UCLA game and was ready to go? And then Eli didn't play right away, but then I want to say redshirted, and then the rest was history. Arch has done this now in a different era. He started a couple of games, but it's almost like if he doesn't win the Heisman, Texas doesn't win the national championship, and he doesn't go number one in the draft in 2 years, then what was all this about?
By the way, Peyton came into that game to replace an injured Hall of Famer, baseball Hall of Famer, not football, Todd Helton.
Right.
So he never got his job back. But I think this is probably as much pressure as I've ever seen. Even Tebow came in on third and fourth down for a five-star back in the day at the University of Florida. So it is the reason I think he is prepared. He's been there so long, and I give him tremendous credit. And if any other player would have left last year when Ewers came back for a final year, which I still haven't quite figured out. Ewers' whole career makes no sense to me.
No, I agree.
But I think Arch. I don't think the environment will intimidate him. I think a few times last year he looked shaky when he came in. Yeah, I hate to say it's in the DNA, but it is, Bo, in the DNA of this kid.
The thing that's crazy, that'll be interesting to me, like if he comes out and let's say he wins here in the opener and he plays great. If that happens, and if he didn't have to win the Heisman or anything like that, but if he has a great season next year, I can't help but wonder why he didn't play more last year. Was there some kind of agreement with everybody down there that no matter what, Quinn Ewers was going to start?
There was a blind loyalty by Sarkisian to Ewers, and I've never understood it. I was walking around at halftime on the field of the Ohio State game, and you know, because you've been there a million times, they have on-the-field boxes at Jerry's World, and I can't tell you how many Texas fat cats, and listen, if you have a box on the field, you're a fat cat, yelled at me and said, hey, how come Arch isn't in there? And by the way, it wasn't like the game was over. Quinn Ewers, to me, was injured most of the season. Sarkisian gave him credit for a couple of big wins, and I just think in the end he couldn't pull the trigger, much like another situation, Kalen DeBoer should have yanked Jalen Milroe last year a couple of times, but he won the Georgia game, so he was loyal to him.
We'll be back with more Ohio Sports Magazine next on the Ohio News Network.
Rothman and Ice.
When you're paying a guy this amount of money, you either feel like you're right there and he's going to put you over the top, or you've got the runway to get it done.
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan.
Sun, splashes, and nonstop fun await at Zoombezi Bay.
Get your 2025 season pass for unlimited thrills,
including our all-new conservation tower. Buy now at ZoombeziBay.com.
Don't miss the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale. Save up to 80% on truckloads of floors and more, including tiles starting at 19 cents a square foot and a massive selection of laminate, luxury vinyl, and carpet, all drastically reduced. Cabinets and lighting fixtures, too. Save up to 80% during the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale on Pop Road in Whitehall. 24-month financing is available with approved credit. Hurry, the Outlet Super Sale ends June 22nd. Dealers welcome.
Hi, I'm Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers.
And I'm his very overpaid celebrity endorser, Common Man. Bob, I heard somewhere, actually from you many, many times, that Worthington Jewelers is where Columbus gets engaged.
It's too bad you and Timmy can't engage the audience.
Good zing, Bob.
If you're thinking of popping the question, there's only one place to go.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington. WorthingtonJewelers.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Talking about guns might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Asking safety questions before a play date, like do you have pets, a pool, are there any unlocked guns in the home, can help keep kids safe. Learn more at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by Ohio Health and the Ad Council. Join the G&J Pepsi team. G&J Pepsi is a family-owned company. Learn more about our company and open positions at our hiring event. Our HR team will be on site Monday, June 9th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 6939 Americana Parkway in Reynoldsburg. We're hiring full-time and part-time merchandisers to service the greater Columbus area. Interviews and job offers given on the spot. All positions offer competitive wages and benefits. Visit gjpepsi.com/careers for more info.
The most common form of treatment for the arthritic joints is normally cortisone injections and gel shots and over-the-counter medications. And most patients have tried all of that and are still in pain.
Every day, Dr. Aaron Wolkoff, a QC Kinetics medical director, meets patients who have exhausted every method to get relief. They've been told surgery is their only option.
They want to stay away from that path, and they come to us almost as the last hope. So we're using our own body's properties to help manage pain, to help slow arthritis down, keep the patients active with no downtime, and getting back to what they enjoy doing. I mean, I love what I do.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments from our board-certified providers help heal and restore aching joints. No surgery, harmful drugs, or downtime. Call for your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Hi, this is Martina McBride. With online news, social media, and texting available 24/7, the world seems to be spinning faster and faster every day. And it can be overwhelming. Sometimes we just need to unplug and take a break from our electronic devices. It can help reduce stress and allow us to reflect on the things that are really important in our lives.
This message brought to you courtesy of the United States Air Force.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
Let's talk Cincinnati Reds baseball and hear from Jeff Carr of Locked On Reds with our Paul Keels.
It is our pleasure, as always, to talk with one of the hosts of the Locked On Reds podcast, Jeff Carr. And if you haven't checked that podcast out, you need to do so, especially if you're a Reds fan. And as challenging as that is right now with the way this team is playing, Jeff, how would you describe this hex that the Milwaukee Brewers seem to have over the Reds in the last few years?
It is a crazy hold that Milwaukee has over Cincinnati. I mean, the Reds haven't won a series against the Brewers since 2022. And that was even in Milwaukee. They haven't won a home series in even longer. So to think of how the Reds are able to overcome them in the division is nothing to just say, how are they going to overcome them head-to-head, where especially Milwaukee's on such a hot streak right now. They're hitting the ball really well. I mean, they didn't have to do too much hitting in Game 1 to win, but what little bit they did was enough. And they're led by Christian Yelich, the quintessential current Reds killer in the league. And even though they were able to strike him out in his first at-bat on Monday night, he got a huge home run that he just about hit the tundra itself on a slider that was low and over the plate from Brady Singer, who honestly was a good pitch. But at the same time, Christian Yelich just is one of the unnamed owners of the Cincinnati Reds right now. And quite frankly, so are the Milwaukee Brewers.
He kind of reminds me of what Billy Hall used to be in A Nightmare to the Reds when he played with the Brewers.
Bill Hall, and I don't know what it is about them. They've got some crazy – I mean, Eric Thames was also one where it's like their careers were fine, but their careers against the Reds were Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah, kind of almost like Roy Oswald when he pitched for the Astros when they were still in the National League.
Yeah.
We also we've seen in 2 series now also, Jeff, that the Chicago Cubs seem to be creating their own form of kryptonite against the Reds.
Yeah, it feels like the Cubs own this division right now. And I know that the Cardinals and the Brewers have had some hot streaks here recently, but the Cubs are starting to turn their sights away from the division and onto what their seed is going to be in the playoffs, because their hitting has carried them while their pitching has really gone through a bit of an upheaval with injuries and a couple of guys being ineffective. They've been able to out-hit their pitching, where we saw that in the Reds-Cubs series, the Reds do have better pitching than the Cubs do, but they, unlike the Cubs, are unable to out-hit, even just good pitching whenever the other team just has a really good lineup. So it's really been a huge gap that has formed, where I thought the Reds were a lot closer to the Cubs and the Brewers. It just doesn't seem to be that case right now.
Jeff, we know that baseball over the course of a long season can be cyclical in so many ways, but through the first 60-plus games, 9 times the Reds have been shut out. You and Steve Offenbaker talked about that. Is that reason to, as you guys mentioned in one of your recent podcasts, to steer clear of the blow-up button, or at least keep your finger near the top of it?
I definitely think you're hovering over it. It's tough because, you got those 9 times. I also saw another stat that 29 of the first 60 games have been 3 runs or less. So you're talking about half of your games you're scoring that many, and really a lot of the run-scoring statistics right now are propped up by the crazy games against the Orioles, Rockies, and Rangers. And when you take those 3 games out, they have a negative run differential and a much closer to 4 run per game average than what their current 4.6 runs per games would have you believe. So it's a little bit of, sample size prison, as it were, where,
yes.
Seems like sometimes you've got really good sample sizes, like their stretch of 6 games where they average 6 runs or more. And then you've got the other stuff like 3 straight 1-0 losses and the streak that they're on currently where they haven't scored more than 3 runs in 3 games.
We talked a lot over recent years about how injuries were a part of David Bell's tenure as manager. Are we seeing that in a lack of staying healthy right now in Francona's debut year here?
Yeah, definitely. We're getting a couple of guys that it just seems they're on again, off again when it comes to the injured list. And I look at Austin Hayes specifically with that, but also Christian Encarnacion-Strand's career, as short as it has been so far, has kind of been defined by injury of, okay, he's either hurt or he's just coming off of an injury and he's trying to get his legs back underneath of him. And what is Christian Encarnacion-Strand to this team right now? I don't know, because I know the scouting report says that he can be a great power hitter, but his availability has always been in question. And that's kind of been the case for Jeimer Candelario this year, where he was bad and then he was hurt. And now he's on the rehab train right now in Arizona. And what is he going to be like whenever he comes back? There's definitely a couple of guys that you can get excited about, but your excitement is tapered with knowing what they did before they hit the injured list. And all you're really thinking is, well, at least they're not Garrett Hampson and Connor Joe.
Yeah, hey, not the truth. Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast. Thanks as always, Jeff. Much appreciated.
Appreciate you, Paul. Go Reds.
We'll be back with more Ohio Sports Magazine next on the Ohio News Network.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Summer is in full swing. If you think you're hot, well, so are your trees. You can help your trees by watering them, especially if they're newly planted. During the hot, dry summer months, your trees could use a water boost. Watering new trees a few times a week will help them survive while they're developing their root system, so don't forget about them. To find out more about watering trees or to find a certified arborist near you, go to treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
Are you in need of basic dental treatment but can't afford the cost? There may be a solution. Hi, I'm Dr. Hal Jeter, president of the Ohio Dental Association, and I'm excited to tell you about a program called Dental Options. Dental Options is a partnership between the Ohio Dental Association and the Ohio Department of Health, in which qualifying patients can be paired with a dentist to receive discounted or even free dental care. Eligibility for the program is based on your financial situation. For more information or to apply, call 1-888-765-6789.
Hey there, I'm Brad. I'm about to win the Tuesday Night Bowling League Championship. Strike. I'm also a highway worker for the Ohio Department of Transportation. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can bowl the winning strike with my buddies.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Did you know 38% of Ohio's teenagers have spent money on gambling and video and online games? Items like mystery boxes, skins, and spin to win mimic gambling, putting children at a higher risk of experiencing a gambling disorder as an adult. So get in the know about youth gambling and start the conversation with discussion guides, parent resources, and more at ChangeTheGameOhio.org. That's ChangeTheGameOhio.org.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
Now, let's get some highlights from the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Here's producer Colin Behringer to set the scene.
Thanks, Jay. This week on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, Jason Lloyd addresses the question many Cavs fans are asking: should Cleveland trade Darius Garland this offseason?
It sort of struck me at Kobe's end of season where I think the question came up again about Donovan and Darius playing together, and he said basically, we can put that to bed. They can. Yes, the answer is yes, they can. They've proven that they can move on. And just the way that he had answered that, kind of told me everything I needed to know. And I mean, listen, I've talked to people in the league who feel like they need to break up the backcourt. This isn't just random fans saying break it up. There's people working in NBA front offices who feel like they're going to have to break this thing up. They disagree, and I tend to actually agree with the Cavs on this one. Even last summer, even after everything that we wrote, I still felt like if you had to break one of them up, it was the front court, and I still think that. I still think if you're going to break one of these tandems up, it's the front court. So can Donovan play point guard? 100% absolutely. Yes, he can. Does that put the Cavs in the best position to win? I mean, you got to see what you would get back in a Darius-type move. I just don't think it's a realistic conversation because I don't think they're moving him.
To catch the full breakdown, just search the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on YouTube, subscribe to their page, and enjoy daily content covering all things Cleveland sports. We'll be back to wrap up this week's Ohio Sports Magazine when we continue on the Ohio News Network.
Common Man and Timmy.
Oh, Jeffrey Dahmer. I thought you meant Dom Tiberi. Dahmer. Hey, who needs frosting on a Pop-Tart? Back when I was a kid, we didn't have Pop-Tarts.
Common Man and Timmy Afternoons on the Fan is sponsored by Hinderer Motorsports.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Kroger brand 80% lean ground beef is on sale. 3-pound packages are only $3.99 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a mysterious room of long-forgotten, moldy mascot memorabilia. Often pitched by ad agencies, always rejected by NJM. Is it real? We may never know. But what is real is NJM's dedication to doing what's right for their customers. Astoundingly, they're proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Learn more at njm.com.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GEAR for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GEAR for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GEAR.
Save big on everything for your next staining project when you shop at Menards. Transform your home in one weekend with exterior stain and sealer from Dutch Boy. It provides one-coat protection on decks, fences, siding, and outdoor furniture, and repels rain after just 4 hours of application. That means quicker results, saving you both time and money. Check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a common seasonal virus, but it can have major implications on a patient's heart health. Most RSV cases involve mild cold-like symptoms, but up to 160,000 adults are hospitalized each year for more serious cases, and RSV can escalate chronic health issues. If you're over the age of 60, talk to your doctor to find out if the new RSV vaccine is right for you, and learn more at heart.org/RSV.
The next disaster is coming. Make a plan. Keep extra medication on hand. Make copies of important documents. Stay informed and be ready. Learn more at americares.org/sendusin.
Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN.
Buckeye games have been airing on WBNS since before you were born and before your parents were born. And before Abraham Lincoln was born, trust me. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
I want to thank Sarah Schott, Tim Alcorn, and Marco LaNave for joining us on this week's edition of Ohio Sports Magazine. Thanks to all of our Locked On podcast contributors this week as well. For Colin Behringer, Eric Reeser, and Paul Keels, I'm Jay Fox. Thanks for listening to Ohio Sports Magazine, and join us next week right here on the Ohio News Network.